Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Wise Children's podcast. We're doing North by Northwest. If I sound a little bit crazy, it's because I probably am. We have just finished our tech and it's Sunday, so it's the first day off in a very long time. And we open on Tuesday. Hi, Si.
Hi, Emma.
Are you feeling crazy too?
I am. It's one of those days I'm not quite sure what day it is. You keep saying it's Sunday, but it doesn't. I don't know. I'm not really ready for it to be Sunday.
It's a weird thing, isn't it? So our life, our theatre touring life, is so fabulous. I'm going to leave a pause there for anybody listening or who tours to chip in, because obviously it's the best of times and the worst of times. But it's great. Look, we're in York. We love the theatre. We love the staff. York is such a pretty place. We're having a fabulous time. But for me, personally, who loves touring and loves adventure and gets to do it with you and my favourite people on the planet, the cast and crew, the day that I find myself most questioning my life choices is a Sunday, because it's the day when you wake up in an Airbnb, nowhere to do your washing, not knowing what to do with yourself, and it's not enough time to go home because Frome is a very, very long way away. And I feel that Sundays have the potential for being the most depressing days.
Yeah, they can get a bit melancholic, can't they? But it's also because you've worked flat out all week, so your sort of energy and adrenaline is up, and then everybody goes, "Oh yeah, we're going to stop on Sunday." "Oh, you're going to stop now, are we?" I've been doing 16-hour days the last 6 days, but today you want to choose to stop. Okay. Yeah, I find that bit that's the bit that I find difficult.
But I'm all right today, I have to say. Having said that, given that I find Sundays a bit blue, and then you have this pressure that you think you should do something, that you should go to an art gallery or visit somewhere, and you're basically a sort of spent rag on the floor.
Yeah, I find that more so when you're abroad.
Yeah,
I find it less in the UK. I think it's okay to not have to have an adventure on a day off on a Sunday.
You say that though, but I have been taunting you with adventures, haven't I?
Yeah, I know.
I might get you out on a treasure trail if it kills me. Anyway, it's all gone very well. It's all gone very well. I know I keep saying it, but I love this company so much. And I do think we're doing something really special with a piece that could feel very flimsy. I think it's not feeling flimsy artistically or creatively, and I think the meaning's really beginning to bubble through. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. And we've got 2 interviews for you today. First one is with Katy Owen, who is right at the centre of this. She's going to tell you all about it. But a bit of background to me and Katy. I think we met about 15 years ago when I auditioned her for... This is like a pop quiz for anybody that's been following me for a long time. I auditioned Katy Owen for The Wild Bride. And I didn't give her the job because I also auditioned Audrey Brisson at that time. And I wanted Audrey. I wanted her accordion playing and her singing. And look, what an absolute superstar Audrey is. So I was absolutely right. But I met Katy Owen, and once met, never forgotten. So I found a way to work with Katy really quickly. We workshopped Mallory Towers, and then she came into my production of Rebecca, and we've basically worked with each other ever since. So if I was a Victorian artist, gentleman, I would say Katy Owen is my muse. So here is me talking to my muse, Katy Owen, in the dressing room with a cameo performance from the biggest cinnamon bun I have ever seen. Hello.
Hello.
So, I'm going to set the scene. I'm in the female dressing room of the cast of North by Northwest, and I'm with Katy Owen, who's just tucking into the biggest cinnamon bun I have ever seen.
Absolute delicious. York's finest.
And you've also told me that you've got lactic problems.
I've got lactic acid in my legs.
Why?
Because I haven't been stretching after running. A lot of stress.
And is the cinnamon bun the antidote to lactic acid?
Well, I'd like to think so, yes. That and a bottle of Yop. Here we go.
We'll do a spin-off podcast. Katy Owen's top tips for a healthy life.
Diet of champions. Yop, Red Bull. That's it. Nothing solid.
Does Baby Bell make it in there?
Oh, not really. Not since I had that poisoning.
Let's not go down that. Let's not go down that avenue. Right, we're going to talk about North by Northwest. So, I don't know whether you remember this, but I didn't think you should be in this show.
Because I'm not a triple threat.
No, it wasn't that. I thought, when I first started working on it, I thought it was going to be all the dancing and lots of glamour.
Yeah. What's the point? I'm not glamorous and I'm not a dancer. But now I swore then, you'll have to edit that out. Actually, no, you won't. Keep it in. You've just basically said I'm neither glamorous nor able in the field of dance.
No, I haven't. You are a very good dancer, and you are very. I would say you're not glamorous in the way, but you're unbelievably attractive and cool. But glamour is a niche. She says it with a mouthful of cinnamon bun.
Niche.
But it's not to do with what I didn't think you were. It's to do with I'm really good and enjoy using you for what you are, and I didn't think that there was going to be a huge amount of comedy or fun in the show.
How wrong you were. You're eating your
know.
words now, weren't you?
I am eating my words. And, I mean, I can't actually remember, as I can't remember lots of things. I can't really remember how it happened, but I sort of couldn't bear making a show without you. So I thought I'd better write a character. And who do you play?
I play the professor, who's the kind of head of the Secret Service, CIA, FBI, whatever you want to call it, but is also the sort of narrator of the piece. And in the narration, I morph into different characters, mostly because there aren't enough actors. But
it also uses you to the absolute limits of your skill set. I mean, I would say this is a sort of virtuosic performance. I am in awe of you out front, absolutely in awe. And it's so technical, isn't it? You have to tell everybody what the catchphrase is for this show.
I've got to swallow. Right, so everyone does it in a Welsh accent, but because the show is so technical and fiddly and tricky in many, many ways, every time our tempers fray or we get a little bit overwhelmed by it, everyone stops and goes, oh, it's very, very technical, isn't it? Very, very technical. No, I can't do this, Emma, too technical. Very, very technical.
So let's talk a bit about the technicality. How many words have you got and what are they like?
Oh my God. It's, without a doubt, the hardest part I've ever played, verbally. The language is very, of its period, the 50s, but also poetic. And the sentences, you, have a word with yourself. A comma occasionally or a full stop would do. You know, I can't breathe getting through some of those.
And yet you do get through them, and it sounds so fantastic.
It's, yeah, I have to get, well, thank you for saying that, but I have to really sort of warm up my lips, my articulations. It's, yeah, and you've got to be sharp. You know, I can't drop the ball because I could take the play off in completely the wrong direction at any given moment.
Well, because Katy is sort of narrating, yeah, you could cut half an hour just on a tiny memory lapse.
That's one of the sentences in the play.
Yeah, always true.
Who knew that such a tiny lapse of memory could have such huge consequence?
We should have that on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
When I see that show report come through.
Yeah.
But no, it's amazing. But also, I would say, obviously, goes without saying, you're one of my favourite performers. You're an unbelievably comic performer. But I think your comedy in this is so spot on and well observed and delicate. I think it's amazing, given that you're playing a 70-year-old gentleman.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. I know it's. I try not to think about it too much because it's so bizarre, isn't it? I'm a 42-year-old Welsh woman, and I seem to understand this ancient gentleman and more than I understand myself. Or yeah, it's thank you. But it requires. I think we talked about it earlier in the process, didn't we? That even though it's such an epic piece, really, it's a spy thriller. It requires a lightness of touch and a truth. a delicacy in the playing of it. Because otherwise it's cartoonish and that's like a hat on a hat, isn't it? As we say.
No, and I think your lightness of touch is what's amazing. And I feel really moved, actually, Katie, and I can't quite believe, as I say, given that it was not my original idea, but you really remind me of my grandpa.
Oh.
Really remind me of my grandpa. And I can't even quite tell you why, but I think it's that post-war sort of jolliness and pragmaticness that actually has a huge amount of melancholy underneath it. And he loved his words and his crosswords. He loved a turn of phrase. You know, he always used to try and make me laugh as a kid, saying, "We're off to see the Ozzard, the wonderful Ozzard of Wiz." And he thought it was really funny. And, you know, as a kid, you're like, oh, my God. But I see him in your performance. It's really touching. And who knew that I could cast my dearest female Welsh friend as an old man and just love you even more?
Oh, thanks, mate. It's an extraordinary part, really, because it's of your own devising. Because in the film, the professor's quite a minor role in the film, really.
2 scenes?
Yeah. And this is, you know, something of your own imagining. And I have loved playing it because it is such a huge challenge for me, in the sense that, the amount of words that I speak, but also trying to not just make it exposition, which narration can often be. And you have to think about the fact that the professor's this extremely intelligent bloke who's always 3 steps ahead of everybody else and loves language and has all this deep buried trauma underneath it, but this stiff upper lip all the time. I think that is what's moving about men of that, who've had that experience, that there's this stoicism about them. They just get on, but you can, now and again, you see the cracks in their armour. You don't see it very often in the professor, but you do, as he watches the love story unfold in front of him.
And all the things that he's given up in life. I see that really clearly. And I also think it's a really old-fashioned notion that we really, really need to re-engage with, that he's chosen good. And he's willing to sacrifice for good. And as I say it, we're so scared to name it now that there may be the right thing to do. And that actually some people know what the right thing to do is. And I think he's holding that as well, which, as I say, feels like a sort of blunt tool at the moment, because life is so nuanced and we've taught ourselves to look at everything from different angles. But this man, in his world, says, I am doing the right thing and I will sacrifice my own pleasure or happiness to do the right thing. And I find that really touching and really noble and something that's really worth thinking about at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And it requires enormous strength, I think, to do that, to be able to go, I know what's right, I stand by it, and in doing the right thing, it doesn't mean that there aren't complications that come along with that. It doesn't mean that people don't get hurt, people don't lose their lives, but there's some sort of greater good.
Higher calling.
Yeah.
I know. Gives me great pause for thought at the moment. I never thought that as well. I mean, that, you know, that is that I had all sorts of mixed feelings about North by Northwest, and it's absolutely surprised me every day. Because on one level, it's just a really ridiculous romp, isn't it? It's really ridiculous. But it is in a world that's really potent.
Yeah, you keep pointing that when I've taken a mouthful.
I know. So what's happening is I speak, Katie puts a massive amount of bun in her mouth, and then at the moment, which is socially the bit where you respond to what I've said, you've got a massive amount of bun in your mouth.
But I need to keep my calories up, don't I?
Well, yes, you do. So the other thing that's really funny is we've got these massive revolving doors. They're really, really huge. They're getting better. We're working on them. But at the beginning, they could only really be moved with strength, of which you have a lot, but also body weight, of which you have almost none. And watching you trying to move a huge door has been one of the great pleasures of my life.
You've got we've done it again. You've got a video, I think, on your phone of me, and I'm hugging this door, and you're filming it, and my legs are sort of either side of it, and I'm giving it a good old tug. I'm using all my body weight to sort of pull it towards me, and it's coming, a centimetre at a time. It's really not shifting. And then what happens is my body just slams into it and I hit my, what should we say, mons pubis?
Tuppence.
My tuppence smashes into the door. You should post that.
All right, we'll post it alongside this podcast. I'll sell one ticket.
Kate Mary Owen banging her tuppence.
What else before I let you? What are the company like?
Delightful, actually. Really nice bunch. No massive problems.
I thought you were going to say egos.
No, it's not. There's not.
There's big personalities,
Yeah, there's big
but
personalities.
not in the form of egos.
No.
And I would say it's the hardest working company I've ever had.
Yeah, it's almost competitive in how hard.
Yes. Everybody's doing a push-up, even like between, like in a pause in a scene.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real sort of like Tonk Nation. Everybody's pumping their guns. Vocal trills. Every time. Oh, honestly, Carl Queensborough and his vocal trills drives me up the wall. His little, he's got this sort of extremely high-tech, it's basically a straw, but a metallic one that sort of relaxes your vocal folds. Because if you didn't know, he was Alexander Hamilton. He's got a lot to live up to.
Well, can I say whatever he's doing, it works, because he has one of the finest voices I did ever hear.
Yeah, he's got a sultry, melty voice.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm loving you all. I'm loving it. I can't believe I can't actually consider this show without you at the centre of it. So that will learn me for even thinking for a second that there'll be a show without you.
Tried to write me out, didn't you? Sounds glamorous enough.
Oh, stop it. That cannot be the story. That cannot be the story.
Everyone's heard it. Are you nervous about the show? How are you feeling? Because this is Tech Week now, isn't it? This is the end of Tech today. And then we'll have a run, will we, this afternoon?
Don't be ridiculous, Katie. Of course we won't get to the end. Anyway, we are at the end of Tech. I'm not nervous because you'd have to be a fool to not see how brilliant, stylish, amazingly skilled, amazingly funny this show is. But I'm a bit nervous because, as you know, the biggest leap that I've taken in terms of the writing happens at the very end of the show, and we haven't quite teched it yet. So I'm a bit nervous of that. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing to be nervous of. The worst that happens is we have to work on it in previews.
Yeah, totally. You know, what was the catchphrase we came up with in rehearsals? Not for the many, for the few.
That wasn't for this, that was for Little Match Girl at Froome. Because we only had
10 people in it.
we only had an audience of 60 or something, so yeah. Not for the many, for the few. So yeah, well, let's hope not. We've sold quite a lot of tickets in York, so
Oh, have you?
I think it is going to be for the many. And bring it on, I say. It's really stunning. It's really stunning.
Very exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. Shall I leave you to... Well, you've nearly finished your bun, so time for your warm-up.
We'll go for a pint soon, won't we?
Hell yeah. Better get your vocal trills going.
Boozy lunch.
Hello. Hi, Patty. Bye.
Bye, mate.
Right. So, now there's a little bit of disagreement about this next interview. Because this next interview, I doorstepped Simon Baker in his own bedroom, in his own bed. And, Si, you're wondering whether it's too intimate, aren't you?
Well, yeah, but you put it in the intro, so it's going to be really hard to edit around it now.
Ah, there you go. So, this is our conversation this morning. Do you know what? I honestly, forgive me, Si, but I heard the bells and I thought, oh, let's record this because it's really beautiful. So that is the sound of the York Minster bells. It's Sunday morning. Hi, Simon.
Morning.
So it's Sunday morning. We haven't been speaking much. We're in our digs in York, and the bells have just started. And come on, that's the sound of York, isn't it? So I'm going to paint a picture, which is we're actually in bed. Simon's brought me coffee. We're sat here quietly having a little ponder about the week that's passed, and I thought I've just put a microphone under his nose.
Yeah, it's come as quite the shock. But thanks. That's good. No, I'm enjoying the bells very much.
I am, because if anybody will ever listen to me, I talk about how my granddad was a bell ringer. Bell ringer all his life. He rang the bells in the church in Evershot in Dorset, where he lived.
And when he went to war, he was such a gentleman, my granddad, Dennis Bishop. He went to war. I think he worked in the catering department, but he took his handbells with him, and he and the other soldiers would play the bells over the bodies of the fallen, and he took them all the way through the war and brought them back. And when he was older, he still rang peals, and he still taught young people, and he in fact died in the belfry, teaching some young people to ring. Had a heart attack, gently slid down the side of the belfry. What an amazing way to go. So I always feel a bit weepy with bells. But they also make me think a bit about war, which is quite good, considering that we're working on North by Northwest, which we finished teching last night. And the end of it, I've really turned into an anti-war play.
You have. Which I thought was working really well last night.
I know, I'm a bit nervous of that. It's the thing I'm most nervous about, because obviously it's the biggest departure from the film. And I don't think we're there yet, but it's going to get there. I think it's really touching.
I think it will. I think it does build to that conclusion. I think without that conclusion, you might feel a bit shortchanged, actually. Yeah.
Well, when I watched the film, with an eye to making it, the end is so disappointing. We don't know how they get off Mount Rushmore, and then he just pulls her into bed, and it's a smile. It makes you smile, but it's not enough.
Well, it does make you feel that the last 2.5 hours were a bit pointless.
Well, easy. Yeah, and I suppose what I hope we're doing is making the previous 2.5 hours, yes, a romp, but with that bit of meaning underneath it. And now I'm lying here on a Sunday morning, possibly a bit hungover.
Seems unlikely.
Definitely a bit tired and emotional. Listening to the bells, thinking of my granddad. And thinking about how awful for a man like that to go to war. How awful. So quiet, so peaceful, so kind, so simple. And it's really, I think working on North by Northwest has really made me think about that. And before I get too melancholic, I've got the bells. I've inherited the bells, which I now have in possession, and we use them almost every School for Wise Children, don't we? I get the bells out and we create music with the bells, so they live on. And it was the single bell in Little Match Girl, the Lucky Chance.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's the end of my shout out to the beautiful Dennis Bishop. What else have we found out this week? We found out that sound designing and composing is really hard work.
Yeah, I think I might have known that before, but I think I've proved it this week. That's what I've achieved.
But Simon, your soundtrack is so amazing. And you've done that thing which I, knowing you as well as I do, kind of breaks my heart a little bit, because you do such amazing work and then you do so much prep, is that it fits so perfectly, is that it almost nobody... Sometimes I don't think it's mentioned enough, because you slide your work in so perfectly that nobody can ever imagine it not being there.
Well, I think it's really hard to... it's really hard to do that kind of work in tech. You kind of have to do it. It is all in the prep. So by the time you get to tech, you're worrying about other things, really. So I think it does have to sort of, for me anyway, not for everybody, but for me, I sort of like to make sure I know what I'm doing before going into the technical rehearsal. Because there's so many other things to deal with in tech that I can't be worrying about bar counts and E minor scales by the time I'm there. I don't know them well enough.
Yeah, you don't want to be getting to know that, do you?
No.
But one of the things I've learned from you, because Simon's done much sort of bigger, more commercial, bigger work than me, Simon always says to me, just don't have an idea in tech. Rehearse the show to its best place and then tech it and then work it in previews. That's your advice, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I like to take advice, but the trouble is I find it really hard not to see opportunities in tech. And I try to be really disciplined, because I can hear Simon in my ear, but I can also feel him behind me in the auditorium. And I think, Emma, just tech what you've got. But then when I know it's not going to stay in, and I'm really... North by Northwest is... has actually been very well rehearsed and devised. It's just the last bit which we've been wrestling with, and I did do quite a big reordering, devising session last night. But obviously I thought it was worth it. But does that drive you mad? Do you watch me go from up the top of the auditorium?
It doesn't drive me mad, and I think we were okay last night because it was the final tech session, and we had enough time to do it. I think the problem with technical rehearsals is they're so expensive and time is so tight. You've got, 6 sessions or 8 sessions to get a show completely ready in order to do a dress, in order to do a preview. And if you lose one of those sessions through an experiment, then I think that's when shows start to get into trouble. And certainly on big shows, the cost per minute, if you like, is sort of astronomical. So we're just waiting for whatever department it is, you sort of know is costing you a huge amount of money and costing you so much time. So I think that's why I get a bit, not cross, but I think, oh, come on, everybody needs to be more prepped. We can't be hanging around for this. We haven't got time for this.
But because you think in a different way to me, but surely preview working time is equally expensive.
I don't know. I think probably, but what you've got by the time you're in previews, you can preview. Yeah. What you don't want is a situation where you've run out of time, you haven't completed the tech, and therefore you can't preview.
Fair. But again, because we were at the end of tech and we knew that we were there, I think. But it was exciting. I definitely think we nudged it forward yesterday. It was exciting. I've still got a few bits I haven't seen. I'm going to say the word kabuki. For those of you that don't know, kabuki is, I guess, an old Japanese method when a piece of silk drops in from the rig. I'm very excited about that. That's coming on Monday. I'm looking forward to that. But we're in really good shape. I can't wait. I mean, I wish I had another day, but there's never, ever been a show, ever in the history of anything, where you don't want for another day.
No, I think that's true. I think shows, you always need more time. But then also, more time does tend to, I think, can sometimes become self-indulgent. At some point you have to put it in front of an audience.
And this one, I mean, I don't know whether it's... every show feels the most important when you're in the middle of it. But this one, I'm really interested to find out how the humour lands with an audience. I think we're going to learn so much from the first meeting, because I think there are scenes that are really serious and really funny, and I think it's going to work, but I think it might be a surprise for the actors. I always say, there's a thing I say to actors, that they have to play their archetype or their line as strongly and as truthfully as they can, which means you do have somebody in a show playing something really important, really serious, really tragic, with another actor playing something quite foolish next to him who might get a laugh, but the actor who's playing the serious line has to not be knocked by the laugh. That they're part of it, not by playing up to it or trying to stop it, but by staying really true to their intention. And I think there's a few scenes like that, and I think it will be really exciting to watch. And I totally trust the actors. They'll know what they have to stay with. But I think there are some things that the actors in the serious tracks don't realise are going to be very, very funny.
Yeah, I think that's true. No, I think getting in front of an audience is always really key. And we're almost there. We're what, 2 days away? Less? 2 dress rehearsals away.
We're 2 dress rehearsals away, and yeah, well, I mean, we're just punch drunk now, aren't we? It's Sunday, listen to the bells, and we're not getting up, so it's Sunday, and we open on Tuesday, so yeah, 2 days.
Yeah, wow, okay.
That's one of the things I love, I have to say. I'm a very impatient person, and I don't know, I'm one of the things I love about theatre is it just happens. You know that you're going to start at some point, and it will happen when you said it was going to happen. I mean, when they were inventing the first Apple, this is where I say something that I haven't got any knowledge about. Here he goes. The first Apple iPhone, I bet they didn't say, like, a year and a half before, we're going to launch this 18 months later on March the 17th. I bet they didn't say that. They just worked on it until it was ready and then thought about it and then thought, now it's ready. But in theatre, we just decide a year earlier what is the day that this thing's going to be ready. And what is a miracle is that it happens. And it's also really relaxing because however stressful it gets, you think this is going to open in 2 days. And then we're on to the next bit, like no matter what happens. Did you hear the bell stop?
No, I thought I'd gone deaf. But you were still talking.
Did it come to dramatic effect though when I said,
Yeah.
you know, it's definitely going to happen, and then the bell stopped?
I think it's when you talked about Apple's delivery deadlines, the bell stopped. I think the world, York has crashed. Steve, oh my God, you've said something bad about Apple.
So Steve Jobs,
we're going to get cancelled.
stopping the bells from the afterlife. Oh my God. Right, on that note, now my soundtrack's gone. I've lost my mojo and I think I might get up.
Come on, let's get up. This bed's not going to make itself, is it? Okay.
So there you have it. An intimate interview with a cinnamon bun and one in bed with a cup of coffee. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for being interested in Wise Children and supporting us. You've got to come and see this show. It's really special. It feels really unusual. It doesn't feel Emma Rice, and yet it is Emma Rice. And oh my goodness, you're going to be wowed by the talent on and off stage. So come and see it. Simon, when can people come?
I've learnt all of these. I'm definitely not reading it off the screen. But we open on the 18th of March. We open next Tuesday, and we're in York till the 5th of April. And then we move to Manchester at the end of April, beginning of May. And then we're in Brighton, and then we go to Liverpool, and then we go to Bath, Cheltenham, and then we end in London on the 11th to the 22nd of June.
So you've got loads of chances. Loads of chances. Come and see us. Come and find us. I'm almost always propping up the bar afterwards. But thanks so much, Wise
Thanks a lot.
Children fans.
Bye
Thanks,
now.
Si.
Thanks,
Bye.
Em.